It's a sin to hide behind this heartache, to make believe that I've found someone new. It's a sin to say that I don't miss you when people know I'm still in love with you.
That back when medicine smells funny. Guess it works though.
Oh, excuse me? You're skeptical of pre-war medicine as opposed to, what, tribal medicine? I mean, I don't understand why you would think that, but wow, what a reversal. Keep in mind that to the people outside this valley, you are the weird one. In all seriousness, your lack of understanding is a weakness that you really need to keep a secret. But let's not beat around the bush anymore. I spoke to Joshua about your dream of visiting the outside world.
Yeah? What did he say?
Oh, he was super mad. Like, I don't know what the hell you said to him the first time, but he was reaching out for a pike.
Whoa!
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. He was kinda chill about it, actually.
Was that necessary?
The joke? No, it wasn't. But it does illustrate a problem. The tone of my voice should have been obvious enough that I wasn't being serious, and yet you didn't pick that up. Well, jokers like me are dime a dozen out there, and some of them are actively malicious. But to answer your question, he thinks that he's influenced you way too much already, and that I should talk to you instead.
He said that? Well, I guess you have been out there more recently than he has. So, what's your advice?
Haven't you been listening? I've been giving you advice ever since we left camp. Well, simply put, I think you should go out there one day, but I don't think you're ready yet. No offense, Chalk, but you're still too naive. Maybe it's part of your culture, but you have too much energy and not enough restraint. I'm worried you're gonna end up with the wrong crowd, or accidentally offend someone important. And when that happens, you may not have anyone to bail you out. Believe me, you won't realize just how important your family is until you really need them, but they're not there. At the very least, you should find someone else to travel with you, someone you can trust. Which eliminates me right off the bat. Point is, I want you to expand your knowledge, but not by winging it. Your experience out there will be instrumental for your tribe's survival, but it'll be useless if you don't make it back alive. And you must come back at some point. No man should ever abandon his family just to satisfy his own desires. Take them back out with you if you must, but if I ever hear about Follows Chalk Jr. having to grow up without a father, then I'll club you in the back of the head. Anyway, we can always speak about this later. There's a lot more you need to know, but let's not spook our gracious hosts, whom I can only assume are watching us right now. The Narrows. Yeah. Fitting name, and the perfect place for an ambush. I don't know how the hell you would climb up those cliffs, but I bet they can. Especially if they're as skinny as those paintings.
The Narrows up ahead. That's the Sorrows territory. They're peaceful enough, but you don't want to make them mad.
Oh yeah, Joshua said they don't have any warriors, but I can't imagine it would take much to turn an expert hunter into one. You're still hunting, just not animals. And for some tribals out there, it could be very literal. Here's another tip. If anyone ever offers you iguana bits, decline politely, and then back away slowly. I can almost feel them watching me, thinking, who the fuck is this dickhead making assumptions about us? Well, I'm sorry, Sorrows, but I like to maintain a healthy degree of paranoia, which is clearly more than they have. There are no traps in the water here. To be fair, I never thought the ones the dead horses had are that effective. The water is too clean, you can spot them too easily. But now that you've been inside the caves, Chalk, you know how to set real traps. Just don't tell anyone where you learned that from, obviously. Oh wow, look at this place. I've got to say, you tribals really know how to make a home pretty much anywhere. Not only that, but this place actually looks pretty damn cozy. Way better than similar efforts I've seen in the Mojave. Okay, I'm surprised we're allowed to get this far into their camp without getting spears shoved in our face. They do have people watching the main entrance, right? Should I assume that's the welcoming party? Quick, how do you say hello again?
You are the one Joshua Graham sent to us. Blessings of the Father in the cave on you. Daniel is waiting for you.
Guten Tag, puedo usar el baño? Oh, wait, no, that was definitely wrong. Shit. Hang on a minute. Father in the cave?
Have you not heard of the God of the New Canaanites? He is our protector and our judge. He helped our ancestors find their place here in Zion. He gave us many gifts, but we are not to seek him out. His caves are forbidden to us. Those who seek them out are taken from us.
Whoa, okay, I know about your whole taboo situation, but you're applying that to the new Canaanite religion as well. Sounds like you're subscribing to a very different version to what I've been told.
Perhaps you do not fully understand the new Canaanites. I have seen the Father's images. His holy bride and holy son were given unto the world to save it. They dwelt in the caverns of the mountains, caverns which can still be seen today. The people sinned against him, and were punished with the end that came in fire and the loss of the holy tongue. Only the new Canaanites were spared.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm done with the vanilla version. I want to hear more about the caves. You make them sound like portals to another world. In the boring version, you have to kill a lot of people to get sent there.
I'm sure Daniel could tell you more. His knowledge of the Father is greater than my own.
Oh, don't worry, the two of us have a lot to discuss. More so now than I originally planned for. But before that, I'd like to know more about your tribe, preferably directly from you as opposed to Daniel. No offense to him, but I have a weird feeling that his information is gonna be a little more sanitized.
We have dwelt in the Narrows since the end that came in fire. When the Father in the caves punished the world and made us forget the holy tongue. We have had good relations with the other tribes in the valley. At least before Salt Upon Wounds brought his white legs here. We have Daniel to thank for our continued existence. His advice and help has kept the white legs from overrunning us, so far. I do not know how long even he can protect us, though.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, that's gonna be one of the many things I will talk to him about. And who knows, maybe once this is all over, he won't have to protect you anymore. Oh, come on, don't be like that. It's gonna be alright. I'm the Courier, by the way. And you are?
Waking Cloud is my name. I am midwife to the Sorrows. It sounds ill-omened, no? Midwife to Sorrows?
Actually, it sounds badass. Well, Waking Cloud, let me tell you what's going to happen. Daniel is going to tell me a lot of things about what the Whitelegs did. Things that will make me very upset. And when I get upset, bad things happen to bad people. You might not believe that now, but you will. And you know what? Folos Chalk and I have already killed a whole bunch of Whitelegs on our way here, and honestly, the biggest advantage they had was the element of surprise. Well, you're all fantastic hunters from what I've been told, so I don't think they can outcompete your people at your own game. Worst case scenario, you could just give them a friendly slap in the face with that gauntlet of yours, and that would be enough because holy shit, look at the size of that thing!
A Sorrow's Yaoguai fist is a sacred symbol. It shows that we belong to the tribe and have willingly undertaken a dangerous quest to aid the tribe. Each Sorrow makes his own, and only after hunting and slaying a Yaoguai that threatened our people. Our shaman, Whitebird, oversees the rites. Perhaps if you spoke to him, he would allow you to undertake such a quest.
Whoa, I can get my own? Smart of you to dangle that in front of me. I mean, I would have helped your tribe regardless, but now I'm really interested. But one thing at a time. Let me talk to Daniel first, but after that, we're going hunting for sure.
Then I will look forward to our next speaking.
Hell yeah. It's always funny to me when people turn a legendary monster into an ornament. This is gonna be one hell of a souvenir.
Wait.
What, you don't approve? Oh, you're comparing it to the War Club, aren't you? Oh, don't be like that, Chalk. I love the one you gave me. I just want to have a giant monster glove too. That way I can club people in the head with one hand and then tear off what's left of it with the other. Is that too much to ask? There's more than enough room in my collection to have the signature weapons of all the tribes here. Now some people might call that disrespectful, to which I say, am I supposed to turn down a gift? Or not participate in the local traditions? People have been swapping goods and ideas back and forth since the very beginning. That's basically what trading is all about. Besides, it's not like I'm gonna use them for anything other than their intended purpose. It's gonna be used to defend the people who gave them to me. That's about as fitting as you could get. Well, that guy sticks out like a sore thumb, so I can only assume it's Daniel. Hate to say this, but it's way too easy for the Whitelegs to figure out who to aim for. They do have giant sniper rifles. What? You're gonna try to read a book with that thing? You must have decades of experience with that gauntlet if you can manage that.
The dead horse has told me details about the attack on your caravan. A stranger's sympathy might not count for much, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The Sorrows will mourn your friends too. They mourn everyone, even the Whitelegs. They have sensitive souls. Innocent, if there is such a thing. In spite of what's happened, I hope that Joshua and I can help you out of here. But to be frank, we need your help too.
So I've been told. It's only been a day since I arrived, and I'm already neck deep in all of this. I would love to know what is wrong with my life. Like, is God deliberately steering me into conflict? You're supposed to be a man of faith, right? A man who gives spiritual guidance? At least I assume that's what you tried to do for the tribes here.
I used to help the Sorrows with various medical problems and general issues they were having, but my bishop sent me here as a missionary. We New Canaanites believe that there is a path to salvation for everyone, and it's important that we set people on that path if they are willing.
Your bishop? Is that your chief? Some kind of super priest?
Yeah. Bishop Mordecai is... Sorry. Mordecai was my bishop. He was killed by Whitelegs during the attack on New Canaan. He was responsible for our congregation there. I don't know who my next bishop will be, but that's a problem for tomorrow. There are plenty of troubles here for us today.
Oh, great. I didn't think we would start the conversation with what happened to New Canaan. This is gonna be the part where I expose myself as the insensitive prick that I am, and then I end up burning yet another bridge. Guess I'll be blaming that one on God too. So, what happened to New Canaan?
We lost it. Our community, everything. But the past is gone. We have to look forward.
Interesting way of looking at things. While I generally approve of that sentiment, it kinda goes against your own teachings. I mean, doesn't your religion revolve around someone who sacrificed himself to wash away humanity's sins over 2,000 years ago? Looking towards the future is one thing, but it's not mutually exclusive to reflecting on the past. In some cases, failing to reflect on the past will directly lead to more failures in the future.
True enough. We can't escape it no matter how hard we try. Best we can do is own up. Trust in the Lord to forgive. Joshua was gone. So were a lot of the other New Canaanites. Whitelegs must have been watching for a long while, counting who remained. We didn't think the Whitelegs were a real threat. Maybe it was overconfidence. Maybe sloth. Either way, we didn't see them coming. They attacked at night. They killed without regard to age or infirmity, armed or unarmed. They beat children to beat them to death in their beds while they were sleeping. And now we're all that's left. Maybe 30 of us. Pride goeth before destruction.
Okay, yeah. I see now why you didn't want to talk about it. But it's like an infection that can fester over time. That kind of pain only gets worse the longer you hold it in. I trust you will never make the same mistakes ever again. And while it's a bit too early to say, if the New Canaanites can flourish again, you'll come back stronger than before. Maybe that was part of your Lord's plan too. Of course, I don't know what Mordecai would have told you if he was still around. For all I know, everything I just said was pure blasphemy.
I'd like you to drop it. It's a private matter.
Whoa, I was only speculating. Your bishop is gone. Nothing either of us say or think will change that. But what could change is how you handle that knowledge. You may be the man with all the spiritual answers around here, but what happens when you have questions of your own? Who's there for you when you need someone to talk to? What happened to the bishop is bothering you, I can tell. Now, if you don't want to share, that's your choice. But consider the fact that you're now in charge of a lot of people. Can you guarantee that your feelings won't affect your judgment? Can any of us guarantee that?
I never thought I'd be in charge of anything. Don't know why. Bishop Mordecai was old. He had been sick for years. He couldn't walk anymore. It wasn't a problem for the rest of us. He made it out to be more trouble than it really was. Just his way, I guess. When the Whitelegs came, he was upstairs. We couldn't get him out in time. The house caught fire at the base and worked its way up. Fast. He didn't die of smoke. I wish he had. Sometimes I wake up and for a minute or two I think all of it was a dream. But it's not. It wasn't. I wish all of this were some fevered vision of what could have been, instead of what is. What we let happen.
And indeed, what could happen again in the future. Is that why you stopped being just a preacher and started being whatever it is you are now? Once again, I have to wonder what happened to the Sorrow's original chief.
I'm trying to make amends for allowing our problem to become their problem. The New Canaanites, I mean. The Whitelegs have always fought with us. And with Joshua returning, Caesar has motivated the Whitelegs to stamp out the New Canaanites entirely. That means the tribes we work with, too. It's already I just want to prevent something terrible from happening to the Sorrows.
No, finish that sentence. No point avoiding the subject. If I'm gonna be your therapist, then you better fucking believe I'm doing this properly. All of this has happened before, hasn't it? The Whitelegs does this all the time.
Yes. But not just Whitelegs. Raiders, too. Prospectors, slavers. Anyone who thinks they can exploit the ignorant and the innocent. We lost the Tar Walkers and the Crazy Horns. We did our best, but we made mistakes. We paid for them. But they paid more. I'd like to get out from under that debt someday. Until then, it's enough to stop ourselves from getting deeper in the hole.
See, Chalk? This is what I was trying to tell you. Your tribe cannot afford to be part of the ignorant and innocent bunch. If that means you have to go out there and be the ultimate scout, then so be it. Go and see everything there is to see. The good, the bad, and the fucking disgusting. The Whitelegs is but one slice of a very rotten pie, albeit one we need to deal with immediately.
They're hateful savages who live only to plunder and destroy. Their leader is a devil called Salt Upon Wounds. War is all he knows. Everything he has, everything that tribe has, was taken by force, raiding, and scavenging. It's said there's no man deadlier at close range. That power fist of his has smashed 100 skulls. Maybe that's true, but so what? It's a low form of leadership. A tribe that knows only war has no future. And so he'll lead them to Caesar.
Wow, you don't mince words. Hardly a surprise, I suppose, considering everything they've done. But with that in mind, we need to have a chat about your plan. What is it exactly?
To remove the Sorrows from harm's way. I have to give credit to the Whitelegs for finding their way here. Though I imagine many died in the process. But they can't follow us east. Not into the Grand Staircase. They don't know how to live off the land. We head there. We can find some safety.
But then what? Is the Grand Staircase anything like Zion Valley? You're uprooting all of these people and taking them somewhere completely alien to them. And even if the Sorrows can adapt, that only protects one tribe from the Whitelegs. And besides, after everything they did, your takeaway is to just run? I was told the new Canaanites are fierce in battle. What happened? I didn't peg you for a pacifist, or is that Tommy gun of yours just for show?
There's an old saying that goes, if you want peace, get ready for war. You've got me figured half right. I'll shoot dead any Whiteleg that tries to creep into this camp. But it's only to protect the Sorrows. The Lord helps those who help themselves. But the Sorrows don't know how. Joshua and I do. Since I got them into this mess, I need to get them out.
But then you're making the same mistakes as before. If New Canaan itself couldn't hold back the Whitelegs, what makes you think two of you alone can do any better? No offense, but I've seen this before. There was a tribe of raiders back in the Mojave called the Fiends. Even the NCR was struggling to hold defensive positions while the Fiends kept raiding day after day. They only solved the problem when they contracted me to go after their leaders. We might need to do something like that here.
There is an important difference between killing in defense and waging war. Even a Gentile like you should know that.
You're already in a war, Daniel. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. The situation with the Whitelegs is actually worse. The Fiends were just raiding out of chem-induced psychosis, but the Whitelegs are doing this to impress the Legion. This is their ticket to glory. They're not gonna stop. Besides, your approach is clearly not the only one available. I've already spoken to Joshua about this, and he's clearly in favor of more preventative measures.
Joshua is a living Bible of all mankind's miseries of war. The debt he has levied through his actions, he repays every day. He is a monument both to God's unending forgiveness and to humanity's unfathomable capacity for cruelty. It's written on every inch of his body. When you look at him, do you only see a man of God? Beneath those bandages, he is burned flesh. As he burns, so does he consume everyone around him. Joshua wants to fight because the Whitelegs have stoked the naked flame inside of him. You see the light, but do not yet feel the heat. I can pray that you never will. But it isn't up to me, and it isn't up to God. It's up to Joshua.
Wow. Did you ever tell that to his face? I'd love to know how that went down. Besides, I was under the impression you all trusted in the Lord's plan, but on this matter it's all up to Joshua? And what about God's unending forgiveness, as you put it? Clearly that has limits when it comes to the Whitelegs. And don't make assumptions about what I've seen and what I've felt. If you knew even half of what the Mojave did to me and what I did to it in return, you would think twice about humanity's true nature. You said your people offer salvation, but I assumed part of that would be salvation from evil like the Whitelegs. I'm not sure being driven from one's home in order to avoid evil counts as salvation, but clearly your definition is more abstract than mine. So why don't you set the record straight? What do you offer salvation from exactly? The wasteland?
A spiritual wasteland, yes. We believe that before this life, our souls existed elsewhere. And after we die, our souls will leave this world. During our time here, we have the burden of choice. The choices we make determine where we go in the spirit world and how we will face judgment. New Canaanites believe, as many once did, that God was made flesh here on earth as a man named Jesus Christ. He sacrificed his life to save us. Every sin, every terrible thing that you, me, or any one of us have done for all time was washed away by his blood. We just have to accept his love. That's why we visit the tribes, to spread the good news. For all we know, we New Canaanites may be all that remains of Christ's followers.
Well, I can tell you right now you're not. I remember hearing those phrases before, even with my amnesia. You might not recognize them as the same religion, but who's to say which version is the correct one anyway? But I admit, this whole thing is more complex than I originally assumed.
That's actually a better response than I usually get from Wastelanders. No offense. Tell you what, there's a lot going on right now, but why don't you take this? Read it. Maybe you'll hate it, maybe you'll be bored. But if you have questions, assuming we get through all this, let me know. It used to be my job to answer those questions. Maybe it will be again.
Oh, trust me, I'll be asking you plenty of questions. It's part of who I am, and I will be going through this. I can't exactly rip your ideas apart if I don't know enough about it. In fact, there's a good chance you're gonna regret giving this to me. The Boomers showed me their mural, and the Brotherhood showed me parts of their codex. I had choice words for both. But I have a question right now if you'll indulge me. Whereabouts in this book can I find references to the Father in the Caves?
Father in the... Oh, right. He's some spirit the Sorrows used to believe in. Watched over them from the caves in the valley. They marked some of the caves around here because they think they'll be punished for going inside. I think as more of them learn the teachings of the New Canaanites, they'll lose their old superstitions.
That's one possibility, sure. The alternative is for them to start mixing your teachings with those superstitions, as you call them. And you have no idea how weird that is to me, considering some of the things I've seen in Zion so far.
Oh? Oh. Of course. How stupid of me. They probably also think Mary is the mother and Jesus is the child. No wonder they picked up on things so easily. I guess it just goes to show how difficult it is to communicate sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder how well they'll take it when you start calling their old beliefs heresy. Which is a shame, because I'm curious to see how far they could go with mixing these two different religions. But at the end of the day, that's your problem to work out. I'm just a very opinionated outside observer. Here's all the stuff you requested, plus a lot more, by the way. I hope the Sorrows like pre-war food, because there's enough industrial chemicals in here to make a bomb.
Well, I'll be. I was starting to lose hope we'd be able to get any of this, much less all of it. Tribals are smart, but, well, they're ignorant. Letting go of a taboo is difficult for them. So I knew it would have to be one of us. Turns out all it took was a Gentile, or, no offense. These supplies are a godsend. But if we're going to evacuate Zion without drawing more white-leg attention, I need you to go back into the valley. Specifically, I need you to scout out some locations for white-legs and try to recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east. There's also the matter of the roads. We're going to be heading out of the east side of the park, but I'm not sure the way is clear.
Hold up. Stop. You don't have a map to the Grand Staircase? You know, the linchpin to your entire evacuation plan? So, you know what, Daniel? I'll happily go out there again as long as you guys come up with a backup plan for when I inevitably fail to find this map. Unless, of course, your god is capable of conjuring this shit out of thin air.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. There aren't a lot of people in the wasteland with kindness to spare for anyone who isn't kin. Since you've been poking around the valley, you might see more activity from the Whitelegs. One of the Sorrow's hunters, Waking Cloud, has volunteered to help guide you through the valley. She has a special talent for staying out of sight. After this, it's just a matter of getting everyone out of here safe and sound. And hopefully, you can head back to the Mojave without any more trouble.
Oh no, Daniel. I don't think I'll be going back to the Mojave even if I wanted to. Go with a hunch, but I think you're gonna need my Pip-Boy to find your way to the Grand Staircase, just like the Caravanners did. Oh, what a shit show this is turning out to be. And yes, I brought a lot of guns too. Not that I think you'll need them, obviously. I'm sure this evacuation will be flawless.